There is a version of you that eats lunch every single day. Same office, same routine, same general effort to eat reasonably well. And your belly fat has not moved in months. Now think about someone you know who also eats lunch every day. Maybe they even eat more than you do. And somehow they stay lean without making it a project. You have probably told yourself it is just their metabolism, but that is not what the research says. The difference is not what they eat at lunch. It is what they do in the 2 hours surrounding it. Here is what nobody in the fitness industry explains about belly fat and midday eating. Lunchtime is not just a meal. It is a biological window. Between noon and 2 p.m., your body is at peak insulin sensitivity. The same food eaten at lunch does less metabolic damage than the same food eaten at dinner. Your body is literally designed to handle carbohydrates best in the middle of the day. But most people are doing 6 specific things around lunchtime that completely waste that window. Not because they eat the wrong food, because of what happens before, during, and after the meal itself. Answer this honestly right now. Do you eat lunch at your desk while checking email? Do you feel hungry again by 3 p.m., even after a full lunch? Do you have a strong pull towards sugar in the afternoon? Is your belly fat the one area that refuses to respond no matter what you do? If any of those hit close to home, this video is going to change how you think about the middle of your day. Stay with me because habit number 4 is something almost every office worker does right after lunch, thinking it is a healthy rest. It is quietly shutting down fat burning for the entire afternoon. Drop a comment right now. What time do you eat lunch? And what is the first thing you do when you finish? Between noon and 2 p.m., your insulin sensitivity peaks. Glucose from a meal gets directed into muscle cells efficiently, instead of fat cells. A study published in the International Journal of Obesity followed 2 groups eating identical total daily calories. One group ate their largest meal at lunch. The other group ate their largest meal at dinner. After 20 weeks, the lunch group lost significantly more weight and body fat. Same calories, same food, different timing, different outcome. Everything you do around lunchtime either amplifies that window or wastes it. 6 habits are wasting it for most people right now. Habit number 1, eating lunch too fast. You finish a morning of back-to-back meetings. You grab your food, sit down, eat while answering one more message. 8 minutes later, the plate is empty and you are back to work. That lunch just happened, but your brain has no idea. When you start eating, your gut releases hormones that signal fullness. The 2 most important are CCK and GLP-1. They need 15 to 20 minutes to travel from your gut to your brain. If you finish in 8 minutes, those hormones are still climbing when your fork goes down. Your brain has not received the fullness signal yet. A study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found people who ate slowly over 30 minutes had ghrelin levels 33% lower afterward. They reported significantly stronger satiety that lasted hours longer. Not because they ate more, because they gave their gut hormones time to reach their brain. Put your fork down between every bite. Take at least 20 minutes. No screens while eating. Give your hormones the time they need, and your afternoon cravings start disappearing without changing a single thing you eat. Habit number 2, drinking sweetened beverages with lunch. A reasonable plate of food with protein and vegetables. And sitting right beside it, a glass of orange juice, a sweetened iced coffee, or a flavored sparkling water with sugar. That drink is undoing most of what the food is trying to do. When you eat solid food, stretch receptors in your stomach signal your brain that something is being consumed. Satiety hormones rise. Ghrelin falls. Liquid calories bypass that entire process. A glass of orange juice contains fructose from 4 to 5 oranges, with almost none of the fiber. That concentrated fructose hits your liver directly and gets converted into triglycerides that park themselves in visceral fat tissue. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition had 2 groups drink the same liquid calories, one group with fructose, one with glucose. After 10 weeks, CT scans showed the fructose group accumulated significantly more visceral fat. Your brain does not register liquid calories as food. After 200 calories of juice, you feel the same as if you drank water, but your liver and visceral fat cells received a very different message. Fix water, sparkling water with no added sugar, or plain unsweetened tea with lunch. Your food stays exactly the same. Your belly fat response to that lunch will be measurably different. Habit number 3, sitting down immediately after lunch. You finish lunch, push the plate aside, pull your chair back to the desk. That is what being productive looks like. But glucose from your lunch is flooding your bloodstream right now. Your pancreas is releasing insulin to clear it, and your muscles are completely inactive. When muscles are not contracting, they do not need fuel. Insulin has nowhere to send the glucose. It converts the excess into fat and stores it specifically around your organs. Researchers in diabetes care had adults take a 10-minute walk after each meal. That single habit reduced post-meal blood sugar spikes by 30%. In some participants, the effect was comparable to metformin without any side effects. When leg muscles contract during walking, they pull glucose out of your blood without needing insulin. Your muscles have a side door that absorbs glucose independently. The window is the 10 to 15 minutes immediately after you finish eating. That is when the glucose decision between muscle fuel and fat storage is being made. Walk to get water. Walk to a colleague instead of sending an email. Walk laps around your floor for 10 minutes. Nobody needs to know what you are doing or why. Habit number 4, lying down immediately after lunch. Everything about this feels healthy. Busy morning, energy dips after lunch, you lie down for 20 minutes. It feels like exactly what your body is asking for. The problem is lying down before your body has processed the glucose from that meal. When you go horizontal, gravity stops helping digestion. Gastric emptying slows significantly. Glucose enters your bloodstream in a prolonged spike instead of clearing efficiently. And your muscles go completely inactive. Every gram of glucose from lunch has to be processed by insulin alone. Insulin has one answer at that level: store it. A study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found people who lay down immediately after eating had post-meal glucose peaks 18% higher. Their insulin stayed elevated for an additional 40 minutes. That is 40 extra minutes of fat storage mode from the same lunch. A short nap is not bad. Research shows 10 to 20 minutes improves afternoon performance and reduces cortisol. But the sequence matters. Walk for 10 minutes first. Let your muscles absorb the glucose. Then rest for no more than 20 minutes. That sequence gets you the fat-burning benefit and the recovery benefit, both working together instead of one canceling the other. Habit number 5, skipping protein at lunch. Think about what the average office lunch looks like. A sandwich that is mostly bread, a bowl of pasta with a little chicken, a salad that is 80% vegetables, a plate of rice with stir-fried vegetables on top. All of it feels reasonable. All of it is dramatically under protein. And the consequences show up 3 hours later. Low protein lunch means blood sugar rises from carbs, insulin spikes, 2 hours later blood sugar drops, ghrelin rises sharply. Your brain sends one signal: find something sweet or starchy right now. That 3 p.m. craving is not a character flaw. It is a predictable hormonal response to what happened at noon. Protein triggers peptide Y, and GLP-1, two hormones that directly suppress ghrelin for hours. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found the high-protein lunch group consumed measurably fewer calories for the rest of the day, without being told to restrict anything. Brain imaging at the University of Missouri found a high-protein lunch reduced activity in brain regions associated with cravings and reward-driven eating. Not through willpower, through actual changes in brain chemistry. You do not need to weigh food or count grams. A palm-sized portion of chicken, fish, eggs, tofu, or Greek yogurt gets you where the hormonal difference becomes real. Eat your protein before the carbohydrates on your plate. Protein first slows gastric emptying and reduces the blood sugar spike that follows. Ghrelin stays lower for longer. The 3 p.m. craving either disappears or becomes a mild awareness instead of an urgent command. Habit number 6, eating lunch while working or looking at a screen. This is the habit that almost nobody connects to belly fat, and yet it might be the one with the most consistent daily impact of everything on this list. Picture the average lunch at a desk. Left hand scrolling through emails, right hand holding a fork, eyes on the screen. Brain processing work while the mouth chews automatically. 20 minutes later, the plate is empty and you barely remember eating. That experience has a name in research: attentional eating. And the science behind what it does to your body is genuinely alarming. Here is the mechanism. When your brain is occupied with a screen, a podcast, a stressful email, or a work conversation, your sympathetic nervous system stays activated. This is your fight or flight system. Your body does not know the difference between a stressful work email and a genuine physical threat. It reads stimulation and urgency the same way. When your sympathetic nervous system is active during eating, blood flow redirects away from your digestive organs toward your muscles and brain. Digestive enzyme production slows. Gastric motility decreases. The gut hormones responsible for signaling fullness, CCK and GLP-1, are released in lower quantities than they would be in a calm state. So the same lunch eaten in a stressed, distracted state produces less satiety than the exact same lunch eaten calmly. A study published in the journal Appetite followed 2 groups eating identical lunches. One group ate while playing a computer game. The other group ate in silence with no distractions. The distracted group consumed 25% more food. They also reported feeling significantly less satisfied after the meal. And most strikingly, they ate significantly more food when offered snacks 2 hours later. The distraction did not just affect how they felt during lunch. It changed how much they ate for the rest of the day. Now, here is the cortisol piece that connects this directly to belly fat. When cortisol is elevated during a meal, it directly increases insulin resistance in the hours after eating. Higher insulin resistance means the same amount of glucose from your lunch requires more insulin to clear. More insulin means a stronger fat storage signal, specifically directed at visceral fat. You can eat the perfect lunch and still create a fat storage environment simply by eating it while stressed and distracted. Lean people tend to treat lunch differently than most people realize. Not because they have more discipline, not because they care more about what they eat, because they create a genuine break around the meal. 20 minutes where the screens go off, the inbox can wait, and the meal gets their actual attention. That mental separation is not a luxury habit. It is a biological requirement for the satiety hormones to work properly, and for cortisol to come down enough that the meal does not trigger a fat storage response. The fix requires nothing except a decision. Close the laptop, put the phone face down, or leave it at the desk. Eat somewhere that is not in front of a screen if you can manage it. If you cannot leave your desk, at least close every tab and application for the 20 minutes of your lunch. You do not need to weigh food. You do not need silence. Quiet background music is fine. A casual conversation with someone at the table is fine. The only thing that needs to stop is the active processing of stimulating information while you eat. 20 minutes of genuine mental separation around lunch is one of the most underrated fat loss habits that exists, and it costs exactly nothing. Here is the complete picture of what we just covered. 6 habits, none of them about what you eat, all of them about what you do around the meal. Habit 1. Eat slowly and take at least 20 minutes. Give your gut hormones enough time to reach your brain before you put your fork down. Habit 2. Drink water or unsweetened sparkling water with lunch. Liquid sugar bypasses satiety signals entirely and sends fructose directly to your liver. Habit 3. Walk for 10 minutes immediately after eating. Your muscles can pull glucose out of your bloodstream without needing insulin if you give them the chance. Habit 4. Do not lie down until after you have walked. Horizontal muscles are inactive muscles, and inactive muscles force insulin to store everything as fat. Habit 5. Eat your protein first. 25 to 30 grams of protein at lunch changes your brain chemistry for the next 4 hours and eliminates the 3 p.m. craving before it starts. Habit 6. Close the screens for the 20 minutes of your actual meal. Distracted eating reduces satiety hormones, increases cortisol, and creates an insulin resistance environment that amplifies fat storage from the same food. Here is what I want you to understand before you close this video. Not one of those 6 habits asks you to eat less. Not one asks you to change what you eat. Not one requires willpower, supplements, or extra time in your day. They only require you to change the environment around your lunch. The same meal eaten differently, paced differently, followed by 10 minutes of movement, eaten away from a screen with adequate protein consumed first, produces a completely different hormonal response in your body. Your belly fat does not respond to how hard you try. It responds to the signals your body receives. Lunch is not just a break in your workday. It is one of the most powerful fat-burning windows your body has. Most people waste it every single day without knowing they are wasting it. You do not have to anymore. Try just one of these 6 habits starting tomorrow at lunch. Just one. Come back in 7 days and tell me what shifted. Which of these 6 surprised you the most today? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. If this changed how you think about the middle of your day and what it means for your belly fat, subscribe to What Science Reveals. Real science explained clearly, every single week. And if you want to understand how your morning habits connect to everything we covered today, that video is right here. The morning and the lunch work together as one system. See you in the next one.